My name's Mike Conway. I'm here with Randy Belisai, and we're from the Arizona Geological Survey. And today what we're trying to do is to have some students come in and take a look at some of the soils and rocks that make up the mountain ranges and the valleys here in southern Arizona, in the Tucson Basin and the Avra Valley.
Right, before we start talking about the soils over there,
okay,
let's talk about the mammoth. What's this doing here?
These mammoths would have lived here 11,000–12,000 years ago. The Columbian mammoth was the name. This is actually a mammoth from the area. This is a mock-up of a mammoth from the area in Siberia, so it's actually a woolly mammoth. But these folks would have lived, these little guys would have lived here about 12,000 years ago. His parents would probably be his father would be 12 foot tall at the top of his head. They'd be enormous animals traveling in herds, much like African elephants.
And this is a depiction over here of what this area looked like?
And what we're trying to show here is what the Earth, what North America looked like about 11,000 years ago. You can see that the continental ice caps extend down into northern United States, and it would have been a very cooler, wetter environment than today. And here's the way it looks today. The ice caps have retreated. We see it up here in Greenland. We see them in the Arctic as well. And these are the megafauna that would have existed here 11,000–12,000 years ago at the same time that the Clovis people would have been here, perhaps hunting these animals or at least butchering them and eating them when they could find them.
Now, you were saying that the soils that sustained this kind of diversity all those years ago are different to the soils up here today?
Yeah, these soils, as the climate dried out and as it warmed up 11,000 years ago at the end of the last ice age, the soils here would have been exposed to rainfall and ice and snow, and they probably would have been largely washed away, so they wouldn't be able to sustain the large vegetation, the ponderosa pine, the pinyon juniper, that we see at lower elevations. The ponderosa pines have retreated to the very summit of the highest of the Sky Islands here in southern Arizona at this point in time. But we do have some immature soils, aerosols that have developed over the past several thousands of years, and what we want students to do is come in and look at these aerosols which form directly on top of the parent rock and identify or figure out which of the parent rocks are associated with these aerosols, with these different soils.
So can you tell us a little bit about these soils that you've got out here?
Well, this first soil that we see is actually from the Cat Mountain, exposed directly on top of the Cat Mountain tuff. 73 million years ago, there would have been a large volcanic eruption here, forming a variety of pyroclastic tuffs, some explosive igneous rocks that would have been laid down, and these soils in particular are forming directly on top of that Cat Mountain tuff at present. They're very immature kinds of soil. They don't support a lot of plant life, but of course we find the cactus on them and the palo verde and saguaro and those sorts of things.
So all the biodiversity we see here really does depend on the soil that underlies everything, right?
The soil in part controls that, and the parent rock, of course, controls the nature of that soil. So soils play a major role here in terms of what types of vegetation we're going to see here, absolutely.
So the people today are trying to identify all the species, but really this is the foundation of it all.
And the soils play a role in that, and if sufficient records were made, you'd probably see a difference in density and types of vegetation that would be controlled in part by the type of soil and the nature and the competency of that soil.
What does this map show us over here, the geology of the
This is Pete Littman. He was with the United States Geological Survey. This is his map of the geology of the Tucson Mountains. These various colors represent the different rock types. This orange color is the Cat Mountain tuff, a volcanic rock that's been laid down here. The green is the Amoliarchos, a 150-million-year-old siltstone. There are some granites exposed here at Pluton that's been uplifted, that was associated with the formation of the caldera about 73 million years ago. And there's a variety of carbonates, Paleozoics, when this area would have been covered with the shallow sea back in the Paleozoic, maybe 300 million years ago.